So we talking poor man's RODI. Well, yeah, there's nothing poor man's about this. This thing is completely overkill. It started its life as a four-stage, 150 gallon per day unit, and it is now dual 200 gallons. It is now 6 stages, and it also tees off to like a whole drinking water system on the other side of the basement. Um, on top of that, there is, let me count how many TDS meters are on this thing. There's 6 TDS meters here. There's 2 over there. Plus, there's 2 more up there on the ceiling where my drinking water portion is. Um, so, let's talk about pressure and all that fun first. Let's just turn it on. All right, so it's on. And there's a booster pump. And it's actually running a little lower pressure than it used to. When it had the dual 75s, the pressure was actually higher. Since putting the dual hundreds in, the pressure has actually dropped a little bit because I'm guessing more of it's going through the ROs instead of, So I think that's the difference in pressure. I didn't change the waste restrictor. This thing is running like a inverted waste ratio. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, no one's going to ever tell you to do this. It is now running like a 1.6 product to 1 waste ratio. It's making something like I calculated it. I actually have flow meters on this thing. If you see here is a flow meter, and there's another one down here. Like I said, this thing is very, very overkill. It was making something like 196 gallons per day of product and 114 gallons per day of waste. So I'm like making more product than waste. The only reason I can do this is because, well, let me show you why. Get the flashlight going here. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see here. But was it 44? 40. What the heck? It's going up after carbon. So that's input. This is post sediment. And then this is post carbon. I wonder if it's time to change my carbon. Go figure. It's going up after the carbon. Learn something new. Anyway. What do we got here? First membrane. Right now it's 2. Second membrane. Right now it's 4. This will usually settle to 1 and 2. And it usually is 2 on the combined. So this is a triple meter. It's first membrane, second membrane, combined. So that's that. Let's come over here, as if this wasn't enough. Here's the DI. You'll notice there's actually only 1 DI in there right now. I don't go through much DI. I mean, that's like probably a year, and it's still right there. So you can see my water is very clean. I replumbed this DI so that the meter is first after the first one and then after the second one. When you get these from BRS or whoever you buy them from, they're usually wired in such a way that it's like before and then after. And I already have before, so I didn't want to put another before. Let's see, what does it say in there? Huh. Well, I'm actually getting 1 TDS. Maybe it's time to change it. Oh, no, 0. Okay. No, we're good. So they're always a little creep on these things when you just start them off. But what else? This is my mixing station. The only thing sort of special about it is that I put this third valve in the middle. This is immensely useful. I pump water upstairs. This pump can pump all the way to my second floor. Say I want to drain the tube and I don't want to like put water that's maybe contaminated back into this bucket. I can literally flip this valve, drain the whole 50-foot tube into the bucket, and just dump it. So it's a really useful feature for clean out. Plus, if I'm trying to pump RO, maybe I don't want salt in my RO. I don't want some salt in my RO. I don't want salty RO. I can drain the whole system, flush it. That's immensely useful. I almost don't know how I would ever do it without it. What else? So let's show you the other fun part over here. Well, I got to walk over here, my messy basement, and some of my new build over here. Lots of stuff going on. So this is ridiculous. If you see all those fittings in there, what this does is when it goes through it the first time, it goes through this double unit here. So there's a there's a mineral stage and a carbon stage. What this does is it adds minerals back to your RO. So it goes through this, and then it goes through this, and then it fills the booster tank. And with all these check valves, it's laid out in such a way that when it leaves the booster tank, it passes through them again. So when you're actually pulling drinking water, it's usually gone through this thing twice. On top of that, you can see I've got a little TDS meter here. And look, all of a sudden that TDS, if you remember coming out my RO, was something like, what was it, 2? Well, look, there it is, 2. But now look, after this thing, it's 15. So it's actually added TDS back. On top of that, I have another pressure gauge. This is telling me the pressure in the booster tank. And so you can see the booster tank is up in there. This runs off to my kitchen, as well as to my refrigerator. So yeah, what's missing from this is I wanted to prioritize this part of the system over the fish tank part of the system, or I guess you would say the like mixing station part of the system over here. Yeah, that's going to happen eventually. I actually bought some pressure switches. I bought some, what else did I buy? I think it's just the pressure switches, and I already have a solenoid over there. So basically it's going to close the solenoid that fills that tank and prioritize this stuff if it senses the pressure on this side is lower, than what it should be. So that's a work in progress. I'm sure most people would probably just buy a second RO, but I'm crazy. Here's my quarantine setup. I don't know if anyone's, interested in that kind of thing, but this is pretty ridiculous as well. I'm kind of curious how this tank is doing. Doing all right. My favorite little wrasse. Anyway, that is my completely overkill, non-basic RO system. Till next time.